for our case, we looked at some of the files, and one of the things that we noticed is that these files are all the column headers are still part of the data. So we need to promote that column header, because if we don't do that right now, when we try to export, and let's do this, I'm going to just uncheck that, and I'm just going to combine all of these files in one file. So one of the things that you see here is now the files have the what should be the column header is now part of the data. We could do use first row as header as we did before, but then that's creating problems. So we can't really do that. So what else can we do? So if we go back, the other problem is, even if we could convert it from that perspective, the other problem is that there are other places where that exists. And you know what? Let me just go back to the top and filter on that. So every time that text filters equals, so you see every file that we imported has that first row that is headers inside of their data. So we need to promote that on every one of those files in order for the files to combine properly. The other thing is that when you have this column 1, column 2, column 3 as the header type, it's going to combine the data basically by the index number or by the column number. So let's say that in one of the files, somebody changed transaction ID is the 3rd column and customer ID is the 5th column, or in the other files, they are all aligned. Well, if is column 1, column 2, column 3, it's just going to combine whatever is in those columns. It's not going to take in consideration the name of the actual header. So this doesn't work. We need to go back and undo this and undo this. So what we need to do is the same thing that we did before, the promote headers. So we're going to create another step, which is go to custom columns again. And we're going to call this one promote headers. And one of the things that I hope that you can, you're noticing here is we're creating transformation, or we're creating column functions that are applying steps into tables. So Power Query has the ability to transform data not only from a table perspective, but also it can transform columns. It can make transformation into individual items. So when we are doing this custom column, it's not just to add a column to a table. A lot of time, the table that we're working with is a table of tables, and you can make transformations into those tables, which is what we're going to do here, which is what we did with the content when we converted the content into actual CSV. But in this step, we're going to take that converted document and we're going to do an additional transformation to that and create another column with that. And, this is good, especially when you are starting, because then you can see each step and then that becomes part of your documentation. So here we're going to say table promote, and there's promote headers, open parenthesis, and then I'm going to take the converted document and then I'm going to click OK. And then if we look at this now, you see that the headers are promoted into each of those, for each of those items. So that's what we want. Now that we have this, and one of the things you could see the prior step, this is what it was, this is what is in the current step. So that's what I'm saying, that you can see exactly what you're doing. So it, you can become comfortable with the UI. But now that we have what we want, this is all that we want to promote. I can just right click here, remove other columns. It's the same thing that we could do from home and do choose columns. And then I just want from here, the promote headers, but it's a lot easier. Just right click, remove other columns, does the same thing. So now that I have this one, I can just expand this. I don't want to use original in the name, because then that will just add, let me just show you what that would do. If I do that, it's going to add the original column name, which was promote headers, dot, and then the column name that existed in the table. We don't want that. We actually want to uncheck that and then just use the original names. So now that we have a proper name for the columns, Power Query will use the actual name of the columns in order to combine them. So it doesn't matter if one of the columns had transaction ID at the beginning or at the end, it will always use the proper information from that